out of the death of Judaism sprang the church. Do you remember in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, the Apostle Paul likened the resurrection of all human beings, the resurrection, to grain that you got to put in the ground. It dies to give birth to the grain that will come forward. Yeah, dying to live. I think that's why Paul said in Galatians chapter 2 and verse 20, I've been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me, and the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Paul said in Romans chapter 6, verses 1 through 4, what shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? God forbid. How shall we who died to sin live any longer in it? Or do you not know that as many of us as were baptized into Christ Jesus were baptized into his death? Therefore, we were buried with him through baptism into death, that just as Christ was raised from the dead by the glory of the Father, even so we also should walk in newness of life. Judaism died that Christianity might live. Human beings have to physically die before mortality can put on immortality. Corruption can put on incorruption. And the process starts on the day of Pentecost, when we die to self, to arise to walk in newness of life. It isn't about me anymore. It's about serving Jesus Christ. And that sounds that's trickier than it sounds. We're not supposed to live for others. And that's what I mean. It's trickier than it sounds. There's a lot of people in the church that don't live for themselves. They actually live for others. But if you're not careful, you'll look around and notice, that the others that you're living for, though, are just family. We're supposed to live for Christ. And we're supposed to live for his cause. Now, that cause certainly includes others. But the church is supposed to be the number one interest in all our lives. Beginning on the day of Pentecost, the Lord added to the church daily those that were being saved, and they worked diligently their entire lives for the cause of the church. Getting out of themselves, having died to themselves, they arise to walk in newness of life. All creatures who have become new, all things have become new. And that includes putting the interest of the church of Jesus Christ as the number one priority in our life. Not just living for others, but living for Christ, which involves and includes certainly helping others. Well, there's your lesson. Guess what? I wasn't able to keep it on one video, so I'm going to have to put 2 videos up there, but that's okay. For those of you who couldn't make it to the building, we understand it's still a mess out there. Don't know what to say about it anymore, and I'm just going to keep making videos until the day comes when we feel like we can all assemble at the building and no one's particularly nervous before. Everyone feels kind of like they did before this all started. But anyways, brother, I love you. I hope this lesson is a blessing to you, and I hope to see you again real soon. God bless.